Good morning, YouTube. It is a gorgeous Friday morning. Took a day off of work because I've got a lot of things to do here around the house. This video has nothing to do with the Mustang or any other car. It has to do with a lot of manual labor and some new play toys that I got for the tractor. So I wanted to share that with you. And I'm going to do a review on one of the new products that I bought, which is called a Ratchet Rake. Attaches to the bucket of my tractor. It's good for leveling ground, leveling driveways, pulling out saplings, pulling out or clearing brush. So it's going to get a workout today. And then I also ended up with some other new toys that I picked up from Rural King up in Martinsville, Virginia last night. Bought a landscape rake, 6-foot landscape rake, something I've definitely wanted for quite some time. And then a massive, oversized, completely overkill seed spreader for the little bit of work that I have to do today around the property. But pushing around a hand-pushed spreader for 3 acres of grass seed is just for the birds. My back doesn't care for that anymore. So I went ahead and bought a PTO-driven spreader, which I'll probably use once a year. I probably only need a hopper that is this big, but thanks to supply chains and Joe Biden, you can't buy 90% of what we should have available. This was the only thing within 100 miles that I could readily go and pick up, and it's the plastic hopper, which is what I wanted. So let me show you exactly what I'm working on. Over the last, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks, we have cleared another 2+ acres of property. You know, this was heavily wooded. It looked much like that when we first started. So a lot of mix of mature pines, some mature hardwoods, you know, younger hardwoods. Anyhow, a lot of burning. I mean, massive piles of timber that were down that we pulled the burn permits for and managed to actually get them down to just a manageable small pile. But I am turning this into pasture land for our horses. So that means I can't leave it in this rough state with, you know, all of this debris all over. So I'm going to come in here and try to clean this up and turn it into something that is extremely user-friendly. Clean up a lot of the debris around the outside perimeter. Most of that is dead, you know, fall. It's old stuff that's just been laying on the ground, but I don't want to look at it. So I'm hoping between the landscape rake and that new Ratchet Rake that I can make pretty short work of this. That's my hope anyhow. I don't know if that's going to be the case or if I'm just, you know, in for a rough weekend of work. But yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. Not sure that the chickens are going to really enjoy, you know, me making all this racket. I'm sure they haven't enjoyed all the burning or the, you know, the excavators and skid steers that have been out here. I've got 6 chicks. They're 10 weeks old, so they're not quite chicks, I guess. Pullets that are in the house. They are unsure whether or not they like the rooster, the big gray one right there. He likes to chase them around and establish his dominance, so they flirt inside the coop quite a bit. So maybe we'll see them today. But anyhow, I've got my work cut out for me. First thing I got to do is get everything out of the back of the truck, get the tractor out, and get everything hooked up. We'll see you once that happens. Alright, this is the Ratchet Rake that I was telling you about. Just simply hooks onto the front of the bucket. Cables go around, and then use a ratchet strap to connect the front over the bucket. Everything I have seen online, this is a very secure piece of equipment. All I know is it's heavy as ass. It's probably, I don't know, 150 pounds. I don't know, I'm taking a guess at that. Anyhow, it is extremely heavy. It's got teeth that will go out to the front side in order to help push things over, and then teeth underneath that will, you know, point straight down, so you can use your bucket to drag either forward or backwards. Looks like it is extremely well made. I'm hoping what it'll do is allow me to get some of those bigger items and push them off to the side or to the center if I decide to burn, however that works. So I'm going to attempt to hook the bucket up to it. You know, it tells you to put a block underneath the front of it, but I'm hard-headed. I don't usually follow directions well, so I'm just going to manipulate it so I can get the bucket in those hooks and see if we can't get it ratcheted together. Let's see how this goes. So anyhow, because I'm hard-headed and didn't follow the directions and put a block underneath it, it took a little bit more effort than I expected. Went together rather well. Hooks just come around on the bucket, ratchet straps come over, and I have a good long tag in. It does come with two sets of cables, a long set and a short set. You have to measure the bucket depth in order to know which one to use. Measure it first, read the directions first. I didn't. I put the wrong cables on and then had to turn around and take them right back off. So save yourself a step, measure it first. Good to go. I'm going to change battery in the GoPro, and then let's go see how all this works. right, it's Tuesday afternoon. Worked on the pasture all weekend. Winds were 30 to 40 miles an hour yesterday. All of Sunday afternoon. Monday was terrible. This morning was a little bit of wind, so I did not put the grass seed down. So it's after work, I don't know, 5:30 or so. I'm gonna see if I can't get the spreader on the back of the tractor and get some grass seed down. But as you can see, she's looking pretty good. She's nice and clean. We had a little bit of rain come in last night, just enough to wet the surface down, knock the dust. But the next 4 days look like rain. So the plan is to get the grass seed on the ground tonight, prior to the rain coming in. Let the grass grow a little bit, then I'll get a brush hog and get out here and trim up all of this crap that's sticking up. You know what? It looks worse today than it did before it rained yesterday. So we'll just have to see how well the bush hog works in a little bit. Not too bad. Less than 12 minutes to drive the tractor around and get everything hooked up. So I'm happy with that. Probably not as level as it should be, but I think it'll be okay for the moment. I have 75 pounds worth of equine blend seed in the hopper. It filled it up much higher than I thought it was going to. I thought where that line is, where the seed is about the maximum size that I'm needing in the first place. You saw me try the PTO out. It did turn. So, I don't know, I'm going to give it a shot. The only thing I'm unsure of is how large of an opening I need in order to get the seed to come out effectively, but we're going to play around with that when we first start. So let's go ahead and get out in the pasture and see if I can use the remaining 30 minutes of daylight. Final check. We have just a handful down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all the little ones are in the box. They have yet to figure out that it's more comfortable roosting. Still don't see any eggs, but that's okay. Older hens are going on 3 months old, so I should see eggs anytime now. Good morning, YouTube. It is a nasty cold Saturday. We got a ton of rain last night. The thunderstorm that rolled through was torrential, so I am sure every bit of my grass seed is somewhere down in the wood line about at the moment. Does look like, as I look around, that there is some still remaining up top. hopefully in the last 5 or 6 days with the gentle rain that we had, it was able to keep some of the seed, you know, here. All the rain has done is show me that I have a lot more sticks to get up. But like I said earlier, I'll take a brush hog and clean all this up later. I wanted to do a wrap-up video on the Ratchet Rake. I cannot recommend this enough. It made very easy work of pushing large piles of debris. It made very easy work of pulling out saplings out of the ground. There were quite a few, up to, some of them were an inch, maybe a little over an inch in diameter. Was able to just back drag with the bucket and, you know, pull the sapling and the roots and everything up at once. I had some very hard packed little mounds of dirt in the pasture. Was able to, you know, with a combination of pushing and back dragging, able to level those hard packed, you know, areas where the track hoe had just compacted it completely. So that made very easy work for what I was doing today. By no means am I done with this. I've got the smaller pasture up at the top of the hill that I have to work with and do the same thing once they finish the grading for the barn. And I am sure I will use it around here. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Highly recommend. Stayed in place, didn't, you know, didn't work itself loose, and I was able to really make some good progress with it. Ratchet Rake, or excuse me, Landscape Rake, worked as advertised. I had used one of these before, so I had a really good expectation of what to expect. Perfect, absolutely did what it was supposed to. As you see in the video, I spent a lot of time cleaning, and you can tell that I've been a couple of times back, ever so slightly. A lot of debris gets caught in between the tines, but you know what? That is okay. That is what it's supposed to do. The side effect of this landscape rake, or one of the other, you know, benefits of it that was perfect, is it levels the dirt. So not only are you dragging debris off, but you are leveling everything, because the track hoe and the skid steer just had some serious ruts. It was a very bouncy, bumpy ride initially with the tractor. So this, you know, was able to pull a lot of the sticks off, and I could get it to the side where I could push it, you know, further in with the ratchet rake. But it leveled everything. So even though I have a lot of debris left in the field that I'll get with either a brush hog or, you know, with the landscape rake a little bit later, or maybe I'll just leave a lot of it to compost over the course of the summer here. That landscape rake was, you know, just a back saver. That was absolutely fantastic. You saw a couple times I turned it around and was able to push debris back into the wood line. Actually, for that, the ratchet rake worked better. It was just easier and more control on the bucket in order to be able to push into the wood line versus backing it in with the ratchet or with the landscape rake. But the landscape rake just was invaluable. You cannot do this task, or you don't want to do this task without one. The final piece of the puzzle was the hopper for the seed spreader. Worked like a champ. Did exactly what it was supposed to do. The wild card with this was the setting, in which controlled the opening for how much seed was coming out. The first pass I did around, I dumped half of my seed because it was a little too wide. And then I had to play around, as you saw, back and forth in order to find an area or find a setting that actually worked well. I'm happy with where it is right now. Since I'm going to spread some more grass seed shortly, I'm going to go ahead and leave that in place. But this worked like a champ. No issues, problems, just a matter of getting the settings correct. And then last but not least, Mahindra makes a fantastic tractor. Zero issues. Have changed a battery in 6 years and one battery cable that corroded. Perfect. Love it. For the acreage that I have and what I am doing, 26 horsepower is plenty. I've got a 5-foot finish mower that I'll use, to cut these pastures, and then a 4-foot brush hog. It powers those just fine. So, highly recommend the setup that I have. I have no complaints, zero issues. I have a relatively level pasture with a bunch of crap still in it that I have to get up. But hopefully within the next week, we'll start seeing some green shoots popping up. I'll put another 100 pounds or so of seed down, within the next week when I'm not driving through mud, and we should be good to go. So YouTube, thank you very much for watching, and maybe this helps somebody out. We'll see you.